My name is Salacia, and I am the proud mom of Shailik Aki Rohan Singleton. They say that there's power in a name, and you're blessed if you can live up to your namesake. And I believe that Shailik has done just that. He's my gentle giant. He is a lover of God, and his name, born to the Creator, I believe just exudes who he is. Raising Shailik as a baby was pretty easy, I think. He was an easygoing baby and really fun-loving, and I just recall him being very in tune emotionally to others, and I thought that was just pretty fascinating about him. He knew when I was happy and upbeat. He knew to wrap his arms around me when I was sad, and those are the things that I can remember as him being a baby. Shailik has always been a boy's boy, always doing crazy boy stuff. I can recall a time where I would go up into his room to check his room, make sure his room was clean, and kids have a tendency to stuff things underneath the bed and in the closet or whatever, and so I'm checking underneath the bed, and he's got dead worms and frogs underneath his bed. Of course, that scared the living daylights out of me, but it doesn't even stop there for him. We came from worship one evening, and he has let a frog go, a live frog go, in my minivan, and I am screaming all the way home. Those are the things that just rattled my nerves, and he still do crazy stuff like that today. I always would ask him, when is the light bulb gonna come on, boy? I think one of the great qualities that Shailik has about himself is that he likes to talk. He's not afraid of being vocal, and he knows no stranger. A time that was probably inconvenient was when he was 3 years old, and as a 3-year-old, he was quite tall for his age, and so many people questioned how old he was, how old he truly was anyways. But we had gone to the Golden Corral in Beaufort to have dinner before going on the island, and of course, the attendants asks, what are the ages of the children, and get to him, and I say he's 3, and he busts out with, "No, Mama, I'm 5." And we were like shocked. We didn't even know how to respond to that. We're like, no, ma'am. And she's looking at us like, which one is it? And I'm like, no, ma'am, he's 3. And he was adamant, "I'm 5. No, Mom, I'm 5. And I'm just telling Fred to just take them along. And I said, no, ma'am, he's 3. I've always been proud of who Shailik had grown to become, and I could see it early on. We've always had a special bond between us as mother and son, and I'm so thankful to God for that. I believe that so many blessings have come with having the opportunity to raise a son, and to watch a boy become a man. Shailik has been there for me in some of the most difficult moments. He's been there for us. We call him our little Dr. Phil. But he's been there for us in some of the most trying times and have lifted us up, and that is the man that we could see coming in him or being displayed within him, but I'm also proud of his faith. I'm proud of his walk. We all don't have it down, but he is making a great effort and an investment in his faith, and that makes me so proud of him. And it makes me proud to say that I have raised a son who has become my brother and now my friend.
remember as if it was like yesterday when I discovered that my wife, at the time my best friend, my girlfriend, was pregnant with our son. And I will tell you that everything that I knew when I learned of this took a change, a transformation. I knew that it meant that fatherhood meant that we needed to be a family. It meant that I wanted to be a father, a dad, one to raise his son up in a way that he should go, one who was going to be there for his family. And although we began going in the direction that we wanted to go in as we discovered God, we soon learned his way. And I'm thankful to the Lord that we did that. But June 10th, actually it's the month in which my birthday is the 5th, 2000, Shalik was born into this world. And it was a memorable moment for me. I remember picking him up at Buford Memorial Hospital and holding him in my arms and saying in my heart, this is me, this is my son, this is a part of who I am. And that was the proudest moment in my life, my firstborn. And being able to share that with the world was a magnificent thing. Shalik was a very intuitive baby. Like with most kids, he loved toys. But the one thing that didn't resonate with me, I didn't understand about him, was the fact that that boy would never play with his toys. He would take them apart. He would take my screwdriver, and I'm looking for it. I find it underneath his bed, and one of his truck, the wheels done been disassembled, the motor done taken out of the view, and he just was that type of hands-on individual. And I learned very early on that he had some skills that I didn't know. He could draw. He's a pretty good rapper too. I didn't know that. But Shalik was always into something that really moved the mind. And I was impressed as I learned more about him. I would think about keeping him calm. And one of the things that would keep him calm was his movies. Boy, he loved him some Jungle Book. And when we had a VCR that could automatically rewind, oh boy, we were big money. We were making it big. And boy, when he would pop that tape in, and he heard them heads start to rewind, boy, you couldn't tell him nothing. He didn't need our help. He would just get up in the morning or the middle of the night, and whatever he wanted to watch, whether it be Jungle Book or Lion King, which that got on my nerves. That boy watched that thing so much, I just know all of the words of Lion King. The movie that they just came out with, nah, Shalik probably still can quote that thing right now. Shalik growing up as an infant was very easy for me. With the help of his wonderful grandmother, Norma Smalls, and Annie Mae Singleton, and his great-grandmother, Mamie, Mr. Daly, also as Mother Singleton, Lucille. They all had a hand, and others had a hand in helping to raise Shalik, especially when Shalacia was in the military, gone for over 6 months at a time. And I recall working at Beaufort County Detention Center, coming home, working 12, sometimes 17, 18 hours. And the one thing that Shalik wanted when he saw me through the door was smiling and wanting to play. And as I said, he didn't demand much other than eating and drinking those bottles. He had a thing about him where we would set 1 or 2 bottles inside of his crib. And in the middle of the night, when he gets up, he will go find that bottle underneath the pillow. He'll suck on one. And when he got done, he just threw it in front of the bed. And when I wake up in the morning, I can see 4 bottles just sprawled out. And he just laid out in the bed like that never happened. But again, he was just such a wonderful baby. And I would be so tired. And that joker want to just sit up there and laugh and play. And I would put him in the crib. And I would say, Shalik, lay down. So then he would ease his head on down, and as soon as I lay my head down to try to get some rest, I'll look over and I hear a little squeak inside the crib. He done raise his head up. I said, lay down. He didn't throw his head back down, act like he's sleeping. And as soon as I raise my head again, he done crawled back up there and smiling. I said, Shalik, if you don't lay yourself down. I mean, he was just a funny baby. Shalik is a very honest kid. And we try to teach them at a very early age to be mindful of the Creator, that we're not going to always be around. And they learn to tell the truth. Even if you put pressure to them, they'll tell you the truth. I remember a time when there was some food. I don't recall what it was, but some food was missing out of the kitchen. And we trying to figure out, well, what's going on? So I went to the kids to ask the kids, why are we having these food coming up missing? Nobody knew. Well, the incident happened again. And what the kids didn't know this time was that I had a camcorder on top of the refrigerator. Now I just set it up there, thinking nothing about it, just set it up there, and it was up there for a few weeks. And so we had the situation occurred again, and I went to them, I says, who went into the kitchen and took things that they did not ask for? Well, everyone, I didn't do it. And I said, Charlie, did you do it? No, I didn't do it. I mean, he swear up and down, I didn't do it, I didn't take it. Everybody looking at me, I didn't do it. I said, okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go downstairs, I'm gonna pull the camcorder from off the refrigerator, and I'm gonna look at the tape, and it's gonna reveal who did it. So all of the eyes got big, and all of a sudden Charlie said, I did it, Daddy, I went in there, and I did it. Well, what he didn't know at the time was the camcorder didn't have no tape in it, and it wasn't working. I just set it on top of the refrigerator. But the thing about it was he was very conscious of wrong, and he always wanted to try to make it right. And so I really appreciate that about him. The proudest moment in my life was the day when Charlie decided to be obedient to Christ, being baptized for the remission of his sins, becoming a child of God. He made that decision on his own. Many times we talked about the scriptures. He witnessed me preaching from state to state as we would travel and be a part of the gospel meetings and spreading God's gospel throughout the various states. And when he decided that he wanted to walk with Christ, that was the greatest day of my life, second to him being born. And from that point on, he had that desire to want to be a part. Whether he was preaching, and I remember the first time that I was invited to speak at a lecture, and they wanted Charlie to speak for the first time. And he worked on that thing really hard, and he did an outstanding job. And the brethren try to support the preachers for their work. And I don't look at the gospel as a means to make money, but I'm glad that I have the support of brethren to support us. And boy, when Charlie got his first little check of that $500, that boy thought he was rich, man. And I told him I will hold on to his money. You should see how he was acting. No, you ain't gonna hold on to that. I'm gonna take care of that. I did this, I'm gonna take care of that. But I'm so thankful that he is becoming the man. He's evolving to be a very faithful man of Christ. Son, we're really proud of you and this great accomplishment. And we thank the Lord that he has blessed you to see this great day, man.
We're so thankful and so grateful that you are the man that you are, and that we can watch you in your next phase of this journey that we call life.
Keep going. Put God first in everything you do. I know that you have a lot of things in your mind, but you need to pray about it, write it down, and as we always do, meditate on it, and we look to God for answers, and I know that you'll be blessed in everything that you're striving to do, son.
Seek first the kingdom of God, Shalik, and you know that everything that you put your hand to will be a blessing to your soul if you do that.
Amen. And let me tell you something. Now it's time for you to pay us back. You need to get out of the house. I want all the food that you've eaten over the past 12 years in my house, the clothing that we had to pay for, that we had to buy every month because of your big old size. I'm tired of people thinking that I'm your little brother. I'm your father. I'm not your little brother.
The Uber rides, listen.
Oh, yes.
We want our money back. Gas money, grocery money, food money, clothing money.
And shoes money. Them size 16, man, calls me. It's a shame that we got to go to the store. We got to go to 4 or 5 store to try to find your size. Now you can work and pay us back and then take care of yourself. We out of here.
We are Charlie Sisters.
I'm Nevaeh the baby.
I'm Zion the middle.
And I'm Sanai the first oldest girl. Some things I remember about Shalik are just him growing up. He's kind, he's nice, he's very funny, got a great personality. He could be frustrating sometimes, but him and I's personalities are quite the same. We get along really well, we click really well, we're like best friends. I hang out with him more than my other two sisters because that's how close we are. I remember one time, I don't remember this, but I was told this, that I said my first sentences that Charlie hit me. And the way Charlie likes to describe it, he likes to be dramatized, how he looks at me and he will be like, "You snitch." And then my parents didn't beat him for it, which I wish they did. They were so surprised that I said my first words. But there's a lot of funny, sad memories about Charlie.
Yeah, growing up with Shelly was really sweet and nice and kind and loving. Sometimes I would get tired of him talking to me when he's in my room all the time, showing me YouTube videos and dances and stuff. But even though we had our ups and downs, I still appreciate my big brother being with me and loving me and caring for me and showing me everything that I didn't know that he knew.
Shalik, when growing up with Shalik, was very, very, very nice. And he was sweet and loving, kind of on the crazy side, but he helped me when I needed him the most. And like with math, he made me understand it more. And I actually do appreciate him, you know, being there for me and helping me and being really sweet and loving. He's like a gentle giant, you know. He was very kind. And sometimes, yeah, like I said, we had our ups and downs, but we still got along.
Some of the funny stories in my life with my brother Shalik was pretty funny, awkward, and weird. I remember we went to the Columbia Mall. My mom took us to the Columbia Mall, and I was buying him some candy, and a guy was just putting the candy in the bag, and he thought that my brother was paying for it. So he asked, "Oh, is this your girlfriend?" And my brother turned around and he was like, "Kill me now." Really loud. Everybody heard it. And I think that was so funny because a lot of people think we're husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend.
So the skateboard story.
So we had, back in Missouri, we had this big old house and we had this hill that led to the backyard. And so then my dad told my brother not to go down the hill because he had a skateboard. And so of course he didn't listen. And so at the end of the hill, there's kind of like gravel or something that's like not paved, I guess. And so he went down. Anyways, like what my dad said not to. He went down and then he fell, obviously.
No, he
Yeah.
he lifted off the skateboard like he was literally flying. And he literally hit the ground so hard and his arm was all in his back.
It's like
And my mom was on the phone panicking. Oh my goodness, I gotta call you back. Oh my goodness, my son fell. And my dad
was just
come
like,
out with a coffee.
leave
Leave
him.
him.
Just leave him.
Just leave him.
Don't touch
Because I told him not to go down.
Don't touch him.
And so my mom tried to pick him up, and my dad was like, "No, Salacia, don't pick him. You're gonna make it worse. You're gonna make it worse." But my baby, he's hurt. He's hurt. And I was just, I fell off the swing, drooling and stuff because that was the most funniest thing I ever seen. Congratulations, baby Bam Bam. I'm so excited that you accomplished something that you were waiting for a pretty long time. I'm waiting for that check to come in when you get your job too. I'm proud as a little sister, and I wish you much love, and hopefully you can find something to do with your life. Get up.
Congratulations, big booby. I am so happy for you. I am proud of you as your little sister. I want the first hug from you. And I love you so much. I hope you have a great time with everybody. And I just love you so much. And I am so excited and proud of you. Can't wait to get that check.
Congratulations, baby Bam Bam. I am so proud of you, and I hope that the first thing you do is keep God first. And I'm so proud of you to see you lead exhortation and song leading So I'm gonna say congratulations, and I'm gonna need that
My name is
Xbox.
Annie Singleton Middleton. I'm a native of Beaufort, South Carolina. I'm the mother of Frederick Singleton and also Charlotte grandmother, which is my third oldest grandson. Charlotte growing up, he was very curious. He would always come over to my house. He was an early person. He come knock. He would never knock. Actually, he would just walk in. Good morning, Grandma Annie. Where's Papa Skip? He just thrown through the bedroom door. Papa Skip replied, "Charlie, do you know how to knock?" "Yes, Grandpa. Yes, Grandpa, I do. But we need you to get up out of bed." Salacia would call over and, "Miss Ann, have you seen Charlie?" I said, "Oh yes, he's here. He told me he know that you know where he was at." And she said, "No, Miss Ann, I never knew Charlie was over there. Can you please send her back home?" I would send Charlie back. Next 5 minutes, he'd come right back to the house. I said, "Charlie, Mom know you home over here?" "Oh yes, she know I'm over here, Grandma Annie. She gave me permission to come over." I'll pick up the phone. I call Salacia. I said, "Salacia, do you know that Charlie's over here?" She said, "No, Miss Ann. I put the bolt lock on top of the door so he won't get out, but eventually he figured out how to get out of his parents' house." There was a time when Salacia came home from leave. She went over to her mom's house to get Charlotte. She brought Charlotte over. Fred and Salacia say they was leaving. He didn't want to go with his mom. He wanted to stay with Grandma Annie. I was in the room preparing my uniform for work, and I happened to look over at Charlotte, and I said, "Charlotte, what is that red stuff on your lip?" He said, "Oh, Grandma Annie, Nama kissed me. That's why my lip is red." I said, "Wow." The memory I'll never forget. It was a very painful moment of my life when I lost my son, Terrence Singleton. I was crying all night. I remember Fred and his family coming to the hospital. Charlotte was 4 at the time. And when we left the hospital, I went home. As I was getting out of my car, Charlotte, he approached me. He ran over and he said, "Grandma Annie, don't cry anymore. It's going to be okay." And I looked down at Charlotte and I was saying in my mind, wow, my 4-year-old son, he understood more than I thought he would ever. But he gave me a peace of mind that night, because when I went in my house, I laid down and I thought about what he said. I would like to say this about my grandson, Charlotte. From the conversation we have, I realize he's a very intelligent young man. He has a great head on his shoulder. And I also want to remind him of this. We start with self-respect. Never forget who you are, where you came from. Never let no one bring you out of character, because we're going to meet all types of people and they're going to try to bring you out of character.
We are the proud parents of Salacia Smalls Singleton, and Charlotte is our first-born grandchild. From a young child, Charlotte has always been very smart, very creative, mind-wise, strong-minded. I can recall him getting up early in the morning, because he was an early riser, and he would take his small hand and turn the knob on the door, let himself out, go over to his grandmother's house to have breakfast. Meanwhile, I'm searching all over for him. I'm calling to find out where he is. And Mom says in a calm manner, "Oh, Charlotte and I have just had breakfast." And Charlotte would always be very mannerable. He would say, "Grandma, that was so delicious." And I left the hair grease open. And when I left the hair grease open and went on, because I drove myself that morning, Charlotte took it upon himself, because he was an early riser and Smalls was not an early riser. He took it upon himself to dip his hand in the grease, slide it all over Smalls, and took the potato chip and laid it all over him. That was funny. Something, and it was just so funny to me, and it was his way of learning, because he was always been a hands-on learner. So when we were driving along, Smalls was in the driver's seat. I was on the passenger side. Smalls would always have a bag of sunflower seed, chewing on the sunflower seed and spitting the hulls out the window. Charlotte catches on very quickly. He grabbed himself some sunflower seed. No, Charlie, no, that's not for big children. That's not. Looked at me and like, oh no, I'm doing this. Threw it in his mouth, chewed it up, got ready to spit the hull out. Duck, granddaddy, duck. Hulls went out. Most of the hulls went out the window, but a lot went on Smalls. I was glad I wasn't in the driver's seat. Charlie has always been a naturalist. He would follow Smalls around in the yard. They planted a huge, well, it wasn't huge at the time, they planted a small cedar tree in the yard. He would go over to his Uncle Junior's house, help him weed the garden. This particular day, I gave him a piece of meat. If I recall, it was a hot dog, Frank's. And Charlie wanted to share with the chicken because Uncle Junior always had all the farm animals over there, and he loved that. He was just always curious about that. And Charlie decided that he was going to share his meat with the chickens. So he went down there, threw his meat down on the ground, and with this one particular chicken. But all the chickens rushed over to the meat. And Charlie was like, y'all eating all of my meat. So he went down there and snatched back his piece of meat back from the chickens because they weren't sharing. So he loved sharing. Charlie is a brave soul as well. Got this old person spirit, and he's a do-righter. He believes in the right thing. He came to visit us one summer. He and the girls came to visit. They wanted to spend a little time with us during the summer because we were never at home during the summer, but this particular summer we were going to be at home. And they came and they spent about a week or so with us. And I didn't want them to be home just doing nothing, so I enrolled them in Penn Center. One day when they went to the Penn Center campground, Charlie noticed that this handicapped girl, young lady, was being harassed, bullied. And he could have walked away, but he didn't. He went in, he confronted the bullies, he stood up for her. And I admire him for that, because that took courage. Charlie, your family is very proud of you, especially your grandfather and I. We love you dearly. We love the idea that you are really into the Lord. That is precious right there, because young people today don't know the Lord like you do. And I love that about you. I want you to continue praising the Lord, trust in the Lord, and follow your dreams. You spoke about going to a higher place in your learning. That's what I want you to do. I want you to follow your dreams. And if there's anything that I need to help you with, you know we are there for you. We love you.
Charlie, congratulations.
My name Tahir Bailey, Charlie first cousin. Charlie, you should remember this. Ninja Turtle, Leonardo. When we first got the toy from Burger King, we didn't want to see a ninja. We didn't want to see a turtle. See a turtle swim. Well, it was that typical day. It was raining. It was in the middle of the road, big old puddle, and we decided, oh, okay, we're gonna get this turtle. End up getting dirty, too dirty. We end up at grandma's house. Ooh, that wasn't a pretty picture. Boy, we got our butt tear up, boy. You got yours first, and I got mine second. And boy, they said, I told Tahir not to throw the toy. I said, Charlie, it wasn't my fault. You the one that said you want to test the toy out. I said, okay, word. So we threw it. We tried to get it. All our clothes got muddy. Growing up with Charlie was, we get in trouble a lot. Every time I come down here, or every time he come down here. We like to play video games all night long. And he should remember this. McDonald's. We keep singing McDonald's, and Akila did not like that. Oh my God, she keep coming in the back of the van, slapping one of us. She slapped you, then she slapped me. Then she slapped me, then slapped you. We keep saying McDonald's, McDonald's, McDonald's. Like, you on everything of your success. You're going to be one intelligent young man that you're going to be. And life right now for you, it just begun. So, congratulations. Keep your head up. Love you, cuz.